I understand the interest in production and what are they doing and this and that. But on the other hand, it's like you want a good show. Like you want things to happen. And there could be a show where nothing happens. Like it literally, because I've seen many scenes where we're just like,
yeah, and we've had
talking, hanging out, laughing. We could do that all day long.
Yeah. Well, producers put you in a situation and it's still organic and authentic. Like if people don't want to do something,
sometimes
they just
I want to
don't
smack these girls. Like I feel that way.
Right.
You know?
Do you know Bethenny in real life, just being a New Yorker?
The only way that I know her is that she dated my friend's ex-boyfriend. That's it.
Your friend's ex-boyfriend?
A while ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not really, Just didn't know if you ran into the same
Well, she was really
circles.
close with Frederick.
Yes, she was.
So I knew about that, but they were really close. They had a show.
They did. They did have a show. They're not close anymore. We all know that. This isn't me being shady.
Oh, they're not close? I don't know anything.
No,
I just know
so.
that they had a falling out. But
do you regret anything you did?
The only thing I regret because of the way it was positioned is when I was like, oh, Jenna didn't come because she was flying first class. Everyone knew that she was flying first class. Like I wasn't delivering new information at all. But the way that it was like I just thought I was going to be like funny and cheeky and whatever, but because of like the stark contrast from her talking about her, genetic disorder, it looked like I was just like shitting on her. Like I really was there at her house bringing her soup. Meanwhile, I didn't know how bad it was. I just thought she had like some issue with her skin tone and some teeth problems. Like I didn't know it was like this whole elaborate thing. And it's interesting because you learn a lot when you're watching the show back about the girls. Like I didn't know all of those things. Or how much it affected her, But it looked shitty and that made me feel bad. And I feel like it made her feel shitty and that was bad, like for me to watch.
I thought you were going to bring up Jessel and say like the whole, Pavic cheating thing.
I didn't say that he cheated ever.
No, you didn't.
I never said that. I never ever said that. And honestly, that's not even what I was referring to. I think that I was just surprised. I don't know that many people that haven't had sex in a year and a half, and that's just like totally normal and fine. And also, I didn't know half the things that she talked about in her confessionals. When she brought it up to us, it was like, I haven't had sex in a year and a half, guys. Like, haha. That's how it was said.
Right.
So that's what I knew.
Lighthearted.
Yeah. It wasn't like, I've been going through 5 rounds of IVF. I didn't know she didn't even tell her mom she went through IVF. Like, how am I supposed to know?
Right.
Like, I didn't know. So for me, from my perspective, it was just like a crazy thing and not with any real context. So I didn't know how hard it was. Now I get it.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, yes. I mean, especially when you're married. Well, just in general, yes. I don't know anyone that hasn't had sex in a year and a half personally.
It's just that's a long time.
But yes, that's a long time. And I mean, I understand.
But I appreciate her talking about it.
Did Abe receive a lot of flack? I mean, we worked this out at the reunion and we know that you were joking and, you've done interviews and you said all your friends would understand this was just a joke. But like, did he receive a lot of flack like online? Yes.
And he was like, I wish I never said anything. And he was like, I'm not saying anything on the show anymore. Like it just gets, he probably should not have said that. My parents watched the show. Like they were like, why did he say it like that? And I agree. But he was like, he's got like a dry humor. And he was like, yeah, I would fuck other women. And he was like, no. And then after he said, it's indicative of a bigger problem. Like if you don't want to be, for us, it's really not about the sex. It's about the intimacy. It's about being connected. It's about a lot more.
Yeah.
And that's just us. And he was making a joke. He shouldn't have made it like that.
These are all learning experiences from season 1, right?
Yes.
Were your parents were upset? Were they like, what's going on?
No, but like my mom was like, did he have to say it like that? I mean, she's right. He didn't.
Right.
Do
you guys worry or have you had a conversation? Like, for instance, like Vicky Gumbelson from the OC was on this podcast, and said, I would not have gotten a divorce from Don if it wasn't for the OC. We look at she said that. Wow. We look at Kyle and Mauricio, like what they're going through. Like, do you, like we were saying, like just in general, like I think people change from like in season 5, 6, 7. Do you worry about that at all?
I didn't until recently. I think it amplifies issues. I think it sometimes can create issues. But I also think that people who want a big life, either way, would have those amplified issues. Do you know what I mean? Like, I always wanted to do a million things. Like I have 4 businesses, like basically. Like I'm a crazy person. I have a bunch of kids. Like, I just have a lot. And I think that when you get to that point of like the pinnacle, whether you guys are still gelling or not, I think that's what changes things as opposed to like just being okay with the status quo. I don't know that I would say that the show would do it. I think it amplifies things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I don't worry about Abe and I like seeing each other on TV and being like, ugh, I don't like how you look on TV, so we're going to break up. Like, I don't see that. We have like a true connection.
Right.
Yeah. It's like beyond just the way things look from the outside in.
I agree with that. Like, I think if you were going to get a divorce or it wasn't, like, I think people are thrilled when they get a show and they're just not happy in their relationship. They're like, this isn't out if this goes well. I think that. But I mean, I do think that if 2 people are happy and connected, I don't think that a show could like ruin that.
Yeah. No, I don't think so either. And I think, I've seen people say like people get on the show to get divorced, but it's so interesting to me because for me, I was like, I think I was making more money before I got on the show. Like it didn't help me. Right. I'm kidding. It will help, I think, as a platform, but it's just like I had a career. I didn't need to go on a show to like figure out, and I think for a lot of women who are stay at home or maybe they don't have careers, I can understand how that's like, okay, this is an outlet. This is going to be my thing. So if I decide to leave, like this will give me the ability. But if you're going into it already independent, I've always been independent. Like I've always had my own money. And
did you guys like talk though? Like, let's check in with each other as the seasons go on and,
We're so busy. We should have more. I think one thing that we do try to do is like just go out to dinner and just like hang out. And I think when we do that, like we end up talking about things. So we would do that here and there on the show. But honestly, it was really hectic. It was really hard to fit like any time for us in.
Yeah, it's busy.
Yeah, it's busy. So at one point, I remember when we wrapped, we just like ran off to Turks and Caicos for 2 nights and just literally we went for 2 nights. Yeah.
Are you shocked at people like Kyle and Mauricio and this whole thing and Morgan Wade? Like, does that shock you?
I don't know. I don't really think about it. Like, I feel sorry for them, but I also don't feel sorry for them because like if they're making this decision, I'm assuming that they're making it because for the right reasons. I can't imagine that like they look like wonderful people and wonderful parents that they would put their family through it unless it was really like it had to happen.
Yeah.
It's always sad when people break up, but like I come from divorced parents and I think they were happier when they were divorced. So I'd rather them be happy and divorced than together and miserable. Like that doesn't work.
There is like so much divorce in my family that same thing. Like it doesn't affect me at all. Like it helps you be a real person. I think like an authentic relationship. Yeah, I don't really.
It's fine. I don't think it's a big deal. I think people need to calm down with the whole divorce thing.
I think so
It's
too.
great if they make it. Like I just had dinner with Terry and Heather, and like what a great couple. Like they're in sync. They're connected. They've been through it all together. They make sense. Like that exists too. But sometimes it's time.
I mean, people just went in the Bravo-verse. They went wild over Kyle and Mauricio.
And like, leave her alone. Like, what? Why are we assuming that she's dating Morgan because she's a lesbian? Like, how antiquated are we? She can't have a lesbian friend?
I think that is, yeah. I mean, if you really want to boil it down, that's what we're saying.
Well, that's
I guess.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. I've had a million lesbian friends. That mean I'm sleeping with them? Like, what?
No.
It's weird if you think about it. I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. I know nothing. But like, the fact that everyone just assumes that they're together because she's a lesbian is fucked up. It's weird.
It's a little weird, right?
It's weird.
I think it's just because, like, people, I mean, Kyle has even said, like, she gets DMs all day that, my views of a relationship are over. You've destroyed my hope at love. Yeah.
She said that?
Yeah, like, people will say they just held, well, in this Bravo world, they just held Kyle and Mauricio as, like, one of those gold standards.
They were. It's true. It is sad.
It's just nothing shocks me when people break. I guess that's the cynical New Yorker in me of just like, okay,
It is sad when you see it, like when you hear that people are like, you've broken my beliefs in love. Like, that's sad.
Kyle says that she gets tons of
Aw,
DMs
that must be
all
so
day
hurtful.
about people being disappointed.
Oh.
Speaking of Kyle,
Well, she can't do anything for these people. She's got to do her, like, live her life for herself.
you got to live your life for yourself.
Yeah, like she can't live her life because these people are disappointed that she's like, that's like crazy.
No. And, again, it goes back to like, you're on TV